White pepper and black pepper come from the same plant. Same vine, same berry. You can check the labels in your spice rack right now. The difference is not the plant, it is what happens after the harvest. Black pepper is dried. White pepper is submerged in water for up to 2 weeks while bacteria colonize the fruit and dissolve the skin off the seed. That is not a metaphor. That is the actual process. But here is something that might surprise you. That fermentation produces a specific compound, one you already know from a very different context. This is how a tropical berry becomes the invisible spice behind every French white sauce. Most of the world's white pepper comes from a single island, Bangka, off the eastern coast of Sumatra, Indonesia. The town of Muntok sits on the island's western tip, founded in 1732 by order of Sultan Palembang Darussalam. White pepper has been traded internationally since 1498, and Muntok port was the first major export hub. The Dutch East India Company controlled the pepper trade through Bangka from 1722 onward. They named the pepper after the harbor, Muntok white pepper. In 1812, the British captured the island and renamed it Minto, after Lord Minto. 2 years later, they traded the entire island back to the Dutch, in exchange for Cochin, India. One island for one city. That was the value of pepper. But Bangka became more famous for something else: tin. Indonesia's largest tin production came from this island. Strip mining tore through the land for decades, destroyed soil fertility, displaced crocodile populations into human areas, and caused documented health casualties among workers. The island that once exported pepper was stripped bare for metal. The vines disappeared. Then something else happened. As tin reserves declined, farmers began returning to pepper cultivation. The same vines, the same process, unchanged for centuries. Here's the thing nobody tells you. White pepper does not begin as a white seed. It begins as a ripe pepper berry. On the vine, black pepper and white pepper can start from the same fruit. The difference is timing. Black pepper is usually picked earlier, while the berry is still green. White pepper waits longer, until the berry turns yellow, orange, or deep red. That one choice changes the entire process. After harvest, the ripe berries are not peeled by hand, one by one. They are soaked, traditionally in flowing water. Today, sometimes in cement tanks or controlled soaking basins. For about 1 to 2 weeks, the fruit sits underwater, and this is where the process gets strange. The outer fruit does not simply come off, it begins to break down. Bacteria and fungi grow around the berry. Their enzymes attack pectin, the natural glue holding the soft outer layer to the hard seed inside. So white pepper is not peeled in the normal sense. It is retted. The fruit is allowed to soften, ferment, and fall away from the seed. After that, workers have to finish what the water started. In traditional production, softened berries can be pressed and rubbed underfoot. In modern plants, mechanical rubbers do the same job faster and more evenly. Either way, the goal is simple. Strip away the last fragments of skin and flesh. Then, the seeds are washed again. What is left is not a tiny white fruit. It is the naked inner seed of the pepper berry. The seeds are spread out under the sun and dried for several days. That pale cream color comes from what is left behind. The washed seed, dried clean, with the darker outer fruit removed. Then comes sorting. White seeds stay. Dark seeds, broken pieces, and stained peppercorns are removed by hand or machine. But the most surprising part is not what white pepper looks like. It is what it smells like. During retting, fermentation can create powerful aroma compounds. One of them is called 3-methylindole. Its common name is skatole. And skatole is one of the compounds responsible for the smell of mammalian feces. That faint barnyard note in white pepper is not your imagination. It is chemistry. The cleaner the water, the tighter the timing, and the better the washing, the cleaner the final pepper becomes. But if retting runs too long, that fermented smell grows stronger. That is the trade-off inside white pepper. Traditional retting gives depth, character, and terroir, but also more risk of off-odor and contamination. Controlled methods can make white pepper cleaner and faster, but sometimes flatter. Harvest it ripe. Soak it until fermentation loosens the skin. Rub it, wash it, dry it, sort it. That is how a red pepper berry becomes a pale white seed, and why the spice in your shaker carries a smell most factories spend the whole process trying to control. Two names dominate the white pepper trade: Muntok and Sarawak. Muntok comes from Bangka Island, traditional river retting, sun-drying, hand-sorting. Indonesia exported approximately 30,000 metric tons in 2023, valued at roughly $180 million. Sarawak white pepper comes from Malaysian Borneo, called the champagne of peppers, handpicked by Bidayuh tribe members on small mountain plots. It holds a geographical indication since 2003, same legal concept as actual champagne. The premium creamy white pepper grade is washed in piped mountain spring water and sells for 2.5 times the standard price. But neither leads global exports anymore. Vietnam now controls 43.3% of the world's white pepper trade. Muntok and Sarawak keep the prestige. Vietnam keeps the volume. Here is where the story flips. The compound that forms when bacteria strip white pepper, skatole, is the same compound the food industry synthesizes in laboratories and adds to strawberry ice cream as a flavor enhancer. The same one perfume houses buy to add depth and warmth to luxury fragrances. The same one listed among 599 chemicals added to cigarettes for flavor. Skatole gets its name from the Greek word for dung. You have been eating it in dessert your entire life. White pepper produces it naturally, through retting, in river water, on Bangka Island. Your ice cream gets it from a lab. The process that sounds like decay is producing something other industries pay to replicate. The jar of white pepper in your kitchen contains a molecule that high-end perfumers consider an asset. The only difference is that nobody told you. White pepper exists in Western cooking not for flavor, but for appearance. Escoffier codified Béchamel with salt, white pepper, and nutmeg. It appears in every classical cream sauce: Béchamel, velouté, mornay, soubise. The rule: seasoning must be invisible. Black specks in a white sauce are unacceptable. White pepper is also milder. Fermentation changes its chemistry. But the reason it dominates white sauces is visual. The misconception that it's simply milder black pepper persists because nobody explains the retting, the bacteria, the skatole. They just tell you it's white. Same plant, same vine. One path leads to your pepper grinder, the other leads to a river, a colony of bacteria, and eventually, a French white sauce. That is the process. We reveal how things actually work, one story at a time. If there is something you would like us to explore next, let us know. Until then, trust the process.